Hey, what's good, everybody? I'd like to welcome you all to a brand new episode of the Boombox Guru. I'm your host, LB. So, on today's show, I decided to talk about some of my favorite 1970s hard rock and heavy metal albums. And I decided to go in my CD collection and I picked out seven hard rock and heavy metal albums from the 70s that are my personal favorites, some that I frequently listen to and I seem to always go back to all the time on a regular basis, man. So, without further ado, let's get into this video of my some of my favorite 70s hard rock and heavy metal albums. All right, so first CD I have right here is Burn by Deep Purple, released in 1974. And this was the first Deep Purple album with David Coverdale and Glenn Hughes. So this was the first one with the Mark III era of the band. And honestly, that's my favorite era of the band is the Mark III era. Although I know Mark II is the most popular, but me personally, I prefer Mark III. And this is my all-time favorite Deep Purple album. Uh, to me, David Coverdale, and Glenn Hughes, they brought that soul and funk element to Deep Purple sound, and it's so much more. It's a little bit more bluesier too. But the hard rock and heavy metal aspects of the previous records are still prominent, man. The title track "Burn" is one of the best opening songs in rock music, in my personal opinion. Then you got the song like "Mistreated," the slow blues number. David Coverdale's powerful and passionate vocals on there, man. Lay Down, Stay Down is another favorite of mine. You Fool No Run, which goes into more like boogie rock territory. Just so many great songs on here. Richie Blackmore, awesome solo and guitar riffs on here. Ian Pace, phenomenal drumming. John Lord, his keyboard playing is just, he's even hitting some funky licks with his keyboard, you know what I'm saying? And Glenn Hughes, I mean, his bass playing, oh man, so funky and groovy, man. His like R&B and soul inspired vocals just add so much flavor to the band, as well as David Coverdale's passionate blues style of singing, man. But definitely, like I said, my all-time favorite Deep Purple album, one that I listen to frequently all the time, man. So definitely check out Burn uh if you never have, because if you haven't, you're missing out on one of the greatest hard rock albums of all time. All right, so coming up next, moving along, we have Black Sabbath, Master of Reality, released in 1971. This is the band's third album. Man, I enjoy this record so much, man. So many firsts on this record. The song Sweet Leaf, considered the first stoner rock, stoner metal song. After Forever, possibly the first Christian metal song, possibly. Then you got Children of the Grave, fast, speedy track, possibly proto speed metal. 1971. You know, uh, Into the Void, fan favorite. You know, just a flawless album all the way around. You know what I'm saying? Those heavy, down tuned guitars. I mean, granted, it was already established on the self-titled debut album, but here it just seems like Tony Iommi just got a little bit lower with the tuning on this record, man. Give it a more sinister, more heavier, darker sound, man. And this is what 25 plus years at the time before Korn and all those bands debuted, which the new metal scene and or modern metal really set the standard for down tuning, man. So Tony Iommi was just, he was a visionary, man. He was just way ahead of his time, man. But awesome record, man. And like the song Sweet Leaf, so many hip hop acts have sampled Sweet Leaf. I know for a fact Beastie Boys sampled Sweet Leaf on their first album, License to Ill, man. Uh so many great songs on this record, man. White Zombie covered Children of the Grave on a Black Sabbath tribute album. Just a great record all around, man. I personally one of Black Sabbath's best records, in my opinion. My personal favorite, man. If I was ranking Black Sabbath albums from the Ozzy era, I'll probably put this one at number one, honestly. I really enjoy this record. So many good songs on it. Flawless. All right, next album we have is AC/DC Power Rich, released in 1978. Bon Scott era AC/DC. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not the biggest AC/DC fan. They have a few albums here and there that I enjoy. Out of the albums I do have, this one is my personal favorite. I think because it's seen as somewhat of a underrated classic. A lot of the songs on here, not too many of them are like radio staples, which I think makes it a good thing. I think that's a good thing because a lot of AC/DC songs are hella overplayed. Highway to Hell and so forth. You Shook Me All Night Long, but Back in Black. No, those songs have been totally annihilated by radio. But this one, not so much, man. Rock and Roll Damnation. I don't think I hear that a song a whole lot on the radio or anywhere. Down Payment Blues, great mid-tempo bluesy number. Riff Raff, heavy, fast speed song. You could argue maybe proto speed metal as well. Sin City, Gone Shooting, Up to My Neck in You. Just an all-around solid record from AC/DC, man. Like, definitely one of their most underrated classics in their genre, man. I enjoy this record. I enjoy this record for the fact that I can listen to the songs on this record and not kind of get annoyed because, like, oh, man, I hear this on radio, I hear this on commercials or movies all the time, man. Just a solid, underrated record. And I enjoy it so much, man. So, yeah, AC/DC Power Rich, man. Next album we have moving along is Van Halen 1. Van Halen 1, man. Released in 1978, man, too. Of course, we just recently lost Eddie Van Halen. R.I.P. to him. One of the greatest guitar virtuosos on the planet, man. And this album right here, man, one of the greatest hard rock / heavy metal debuts of all time, man. So many great tracks on this record, man. Running with the Devil. Eruption. The instrumental. The great instrumental on the album. I just want to say something about Eruption. That song, when back in the days, I've heard this from so many people that were around when this record came out. They said when you heard Eruption, it made you do two things. Like if you were an aspiring guitar player, it either made you put down your guitar and look for another career, or it just totally made you rethink the way the guitar could be played, man. That's one or two things that it did when people heard Eruption. There's so many metal guitars, heavy metal, extreme metal guitars were inspired by the instrumental. Dimebag Darrell being one. As a matter of fact, I believe the guitar that Eddie Van Halen is holding on here. It's either this one or Van Halen's. I think it's this one. The guitar that Eddie Van Halen's holding. Dimebag Darrell is actually buried with that guitar. Yeah, that actual guitar, not a replica, that actual guitar. But so many metal guitars, so many metal bands were inspired by this freaking album, man. Jamie's Crying, Ain't Talking About Love, Atomic Punk, what I'm saying, On Fire, Feel Your Love Tonight. Man, some classic hard rock songs right here, man. Great songs, a great album to just ride to on a nice sunny day, top down, motorcycle, whatever, man. It just has that really cool vibe to it, man. I just really enjoy this record so much, man. But yeah, Van Halen 1, 1978, man. If you ain't never heard Van Halen 1, then obviously you've been sleeping under a rock. But classic hard rock album right here, man. So moving along, we got a Kiss solo album, and probably most of you already know the one I'm going to talk about. Ace Frehley, another 1978. Man, 1978 had a lot of good hard rock albums, man. But yeah, Ace Frehley's solo debut album from the Kiss, the Kiss solo albums. They all released solo albums. It's 1978, man. And I think the consensus would say that Ace Frehley's was the best one, the most popular. His was the best selling out of all the solo albums, which surprised a lot of people. A lot of people thought that Gene Simmons was going to have the heavy hard rock album, but it was actually Ace. Ace came out guns a blazing, man. I think at that time when these records come out, when these solo albums came out, Gene and Paul had made some like disparaging comments about Ace because he was knee deep in his substance abuse around this time. He was drinking a lot, doing drugs, and they were kind of chalking him up as like a drug addict, so forth. But he ended up writing one of the best solo albums out of all of them, and it really showed what he really brought to the band Kiss, man. So many great so many great tracks on here, man. Rip It Out, another great opener. Uh, that's a heavy metal song in my opinion, man. That's a straight up heavy metal song, man. Speeding Back to My Baby, man. Another hard rocker, very catchy. I really like the female background vocals when they're like speaking back to my baby, and I don't mean maybe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I really like the female vocals on that song, Snowblind, where one song where Ace Frehley talks about his substance abuse. Ozone is a personal favorite of mine, one that Ace is more open about his substance abuse. Man, What's on Your Mind, New York Groove, which was a single from the album, Wiped Out, awesome track too. Fractured Mirror, the instrumental, which has become a staple on Ace Frehley solo albums thereafter. But yes, awesome record, man. My favorite out of the Kiss solo albums. Yeah, and I agree, the best one. Paul Stanley's being a close second, but yeah, Ace Frehley's Kiss solo album, a masterpiece right here. Great record, man. All right, moving along. Aerosmith, Rocks, released in 1976, man. This was their third album? Yeah, I think it was their third. I think it was their third album, third or fourth. But anyway, man, I think this is Aerosmith's heaviest record. I don't think they even made an album as heavy as Rocks. And when I say heavy, I don't mean heavy like Iron Maiden heavy or anything of that nature. I'm just saying, in the context of Aerosmith, it was pretty heavy, man. But a solid record all the way through. Not one skippable song on this record. Lots of bluesy riffs, groovy rhythms all through the album. Gritty, lots of grit, lots of southern rock, hard rock inspired songwriting, man. Just a lot of grit to it, man. Just a lot of grit to this album. You know what I'm saying? Back in the Saddle, the opening track, great opening track. I like the groove. I like the groovy rhythm of that song. That kind of funky bass line. Rats in the Cellar, another fast, speedy track. Another kind of proto speed metal type song. Combination, personal favorite of mine. One of my favorites on here. I listen to that song over and over and over again anytime I put this album on. Sick as a Dog. Nobody's Fault. Slow, heavy. One of the more darker Aerosmith songs within the context of Aerosmith. A lot of metal bands have covered Nobody's Fault, most notably Testament. They covered it on their second album, The New Order, which I also have in my collection. But check out their version because they did an awesome version. Get the Lead Out, great bluesy southern rock track. Licking a Promise, Home Tonight. Just all around great songs on this album, man. I think their best album, honestly. Just solid hard rock, blues rock, southern rock, man. Sometimes I kind of forget that these guys are from Boston, man. But the way they get down on here, man, they sound like a southern rock band, very heavy bluesy southern rock band, man. And a lot of these songs are just fun, man, and enjoyable. It's like the kind of songs you play when you're out with your friends, having a beer, maybe a little get together, whatever. It has that kind of vibe to it, man, like a juke joint vibe, kind of vibe to it, But favorite Aerosmith album, man. Listen to it all the time. Never get old. Definitely check out Rocks, man. Great record. All right, and last but certainly not least, here's another groundbreaking album, another game changer. Motorhead, Overkill. Sometimes I get the years wrong on this. I think this came out in '79, if I'm not mistaken. I think Overkill was released in '79. Sometimes I want to say 78. If it's 78, feel free to correct me in the comments or whatever. But yeah, Overkill, this was a game changer. This was a game changer in the same vein as Black Sabbath's Master Reality. And what I mean is that so many people were inspired by this record, and it helped to create genres in heavy metal, subgenres in heavy metal. The title track, Overkill. I think that was the first time that you heard somebody playing double bass drums throughout a whole entire song. Phil, the Filthy Animal Taylor, man, he played double bass drumming throughout that whole entire song. Double bass drumming throughout the whole entire song, which will go on to later inspire so many thrash metal bands in the 1980s. You know what I'm saying? And speed metal bands. A lot of speed metal bands in the 1980s were inspired by Overkill. I mean, you could arguably say that Motorhead was the first legitimate speed metal band. They were implementing those fast tempos within their sound because they were influenced by what a lot of the punk rock bands were doing. But aside from that, man, great record. The title track, Overkill, Stay Clean. Let's see, No Class, Damage Case, Capricorn, I'll Be Your Sister, Tear You Down, Limb from Limb, Metropolis. This one comes with this is the Sanctuary Records reissue. It comes with bonus tracks. I really like the Louie Louie cover. I really like that. Too Late, Like a Nightmare. So many great songs on here, man. I really enjoy how Motorhead were able to implement that traditional rock and roll sound within their heavy metal approach, man. Even though Lemmy always he was very adamant in saying that Motorhead was not a heavy metal band. They were a rock and roll band. But I mean, in any case, man, it didn't stop people from lumping them in the heavy metal category. And of course, Motorhead performed at a lot of heavy metal festivals, and when you go to a record store, you're gonna find Motorhead in the heavy metal section. But Lemmy always made it clear that Motorhead was a rock and roll band, which, hey, heavy metal's rock and roll in a nutshell, man. But they'd really done a good job in implementing that traditional rock and roll styles from the 50s and 60s into their sound, man. You can hear it all through the record, man, especially in songs like I'll Be Your Sister and I Won't Pay Your Price and No Class and Damage Case, the Louie Louie cover and so forth. You can hear it all through the records. You can hear it all through other subsequent albums that Motorhead did, man. But yeah, Motorhead, Overkill, this is my personal favorite Motorhead album. Usually when I'm on a Motorhead kick and I want to listen to them, this is usually the album that I go to, man. I enjoy everything about this album. I even like the cover. This is my favorite Motorhead cover. I wish I could find a T-shirt with this cover on it, man. I just really like that. I think this is some people may disagree, but I feel like this is Motorhead's best album cover too. I just really like that cover, man. I hope I can find a T-shirt with it one day. But yeah, awesome record, man. We wouldn't have a lot of these thrash metal bands or speed metal bands, if it wasn't for Motorhead. I mean, Metallica probably wouldn't have been Metallica without Motorhead. If you listen to that first Metallica album, Kill 'Em All, you can hear the Motorhead influence on there, man. But Overkill was the breakthrough record that really set the stage and really just inspired so many subgenres, thrash metal, speed metal, and so forth. But yes, man, those are my some of my favorite hard rock heavy metal albums from the 1970s. That's not nearly all of them, plenty more, but we can save those for another video, for another day. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you liked my picks, whether if you agree, if you disagree with my, well, it doesn't matter if you disagree because these are my personal favorites. But if you're watching this video, leave a comment. Tell me what are some of your favorite hard rock and heavy metal records from the 1970s, man. Leave a list in the comment section. I look forward to seeing them. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. You all do me a favor, just hit that thumbs up and like the video because it helps, expose my videos. It gives it more exposure. As well as subscribe, hit the bell so you'll be notified when I drop new content. Definitely check out all my other videos. I'm steadily putting out more videos, being consistent. Got albums ranked, discography breakdowns, tier list, whatever it is, from different genres, not just rock and metal, hip hop. Might even start doing some R&B here pretty soon. But just check out my channel. I I think I put out some pretty solid content, man. So definitely check it out. And as always, hope everybody has a blessed day, a blessed week. And as always, love, peace, and music. Peace out.